Every year, the development of the auto industry is gaining momentum. Car manufacturers trying to interest the buyer, create more and more new concept cars. And today, we will look at 5 new concept cars that we may be able to see on the roads in the coming years. This is Furious Tires, and here we go. The Land Rover Defender is the latest off-roader to join the 6x6 trend, at least in digital form. The fictional Defender-based concept nicknamed UK Bastard was created by independent designer Hussein Al-Bahali, and besides being a 6-wheeler with a rear bed, it's also envisioned with a fully electric powertrain. The 6 massive wheels and the increased ground clearance make the Defender look like a vehicle for the post-apocalyptic future. Hussein Al-Bahali also added a rear bed, converting the SUV into a double-cab pickup. The even nature of the build is evident from the grille and the bumper intakes that are fully covered, plus the absence of tailpipes. Other styling touches include the metal bull bar and the extra LEDs at the front, the ruched bonnet, the illuminated side steps, the custom roof rails, and the bespoke rear bed. Interestingly, the model is loaded with 3 full-size spare tires at the back, meaning that you'll be fine even if half of the tires get punctured on the off-road course. According to the creator, the fully electric Defender 6x6 UK Bastard was envisioned to produce as much as 1,400 horsepower and 15,000 Nm of torque, allowing a 0-6 mph acceleration in 6 seconds. Elon Musk has had a lot to say about the second-generation Tesla Roadster over the last 5 years, but as it stands, it remains some way off reaching the production line. However, the delay in the Roadster's launch hasn't stopped one skilled designer from imagining what the ultimate version of a Tesla hypercar could look like. The finished creation is dubbed the Tesla SpaceX Model R and comes from the mind of Maximilian Schneider, a German designer who has previously worked at Audi, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, and Mitsubishi. The world hypercar expands on Musk's claim that the Roadster could be offered with rocket boosters, but takes things to even more extreme heights. First is the design. The shape of the Tesla SpaceX Model R shares nothing in common with the Roadster and looks far more radical as a result. Indeed, it has a shape more akin to a prototype racer than traditional street car, and has LED headlights neatly incorporated into the bulging front wheel arches. The glass cockpit has been positioned quite far forward in the car, and aerodynamics wheel covers also catch the eye. Continuing the radical bodywork in the shape of the SpaceX Model R are massive aerodynamics filaments on the rear quarter panels. Schneider's dream Tesla hypercar would just run an electric powertrain, but would also feature rockets with liquid hydrogen propellant, resulting in a combined 2,600 horsepower and 467 km/h of top speed. Aston Martin has always been famous for their luxurious yet sporty GT cars, and the company always manages to improve that formula with each era of their vehicles. Digital artist Andreas van Overbeek has decided to take on that challenge himself by envisioning an Aston Coupe that blends past and present into a vehicle of the future. The minimalist design of the car is inspired heavily by 2 defining cars for Aston Martin, the DB4 GT Zagato of old and the Valkyrie of the present day, both of which served as the ultimate representation of the British automaker's capabilities at the time. The overall sculpted shape of the car is borrowed from the DB4, along with the fender vents and wire wheels, but the dramatic proportions are much more reminiscent of a modern vehicle with an extremely long hood, high beltline, and massively flared fenders. I would bet the design is more of a blend of the 2 cars in the front, which is more like a juxtaposition of a new and old. It keeps the very round seam of the overall car, with only a single crease included to help define the bumper. Additionally, a touch of modernity is added to the old-school circular taillights that are complemented with a LED light strip connecting them visually. Rounding off the design is a Valkyrie SQ diffuser that managed to blend in nicely with the rest of the rear end. For many years, enthusiasts have remained hopeful that BMW would one day release a successor to the iconic M1, which was built between 1978 and 1981 and was the firm's last mid-engined supercar. While there is no indication that the car manufacturer will launch a new HM1, skilled automotive designer Highgate has imagined what such a car could look like. In designing a new M1, Highgate has created a car that doesn't look overly similar to existing BMW models, but still looks familiar enough to be easily identified as coming from the Munich carmaker. This is particularly evident at the front, where there are black kidney grills, similar in the shape to those of the 8 Series, but also sleeker and more angular LED headlights than any other BMW. The front of the stunning M1 concept also includes large air intakes and a beautifully sculpted hood. Highgate's M1 is also particularly impressive when viewed from the rear. For example, there are lowers of the engine cover just like the original M1, as well as a set of sharp-looking LED taillights. The rear bumper is characteristic of the current BMW M models, and also houses 4 large circular tailpipes. While BMW has repeatedly ruled out making a new HM1, claiming that the M8 is as far as it would go when it comes to performance cars, I think something like this rendering would fit it nicely in its portfolio. Ferrari is ready to unveil its first 5-door high-riding model, the Purosangue. But what if the Italian brand offered a more traditional 4-door sedan as part of its current lineup? Independent designer Sugar Cho took the challenge and envisioned a Ferrari Roma Limousine, proving that the styling of Maranello's entry-level Grand Tourer works really well 2 extra doors. The model is sharing the front and rear end design with a 2-door GT, but features a significantly longer wheelbase in order to fit 4 doors and offer proper legroom for the rear passengers. The profile looks surprisingly well proportionate, as the independent designer did a great job integrating the extra volume, retaining the surfacing and stretching the greenhouse. In terms of underpinnings, the twin-turbo 4-liter V8 engine of the Roma and the Portfolio M sounds like a great option for the heavier sedan, producing 612 horsepower and 761 Nm of torque. So that was all for today. Write in the comments which of concept you like the most. See you later. Bye.